Well, here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have a verdict, at least the Court of Public Opinion, as well as the House of Commons, the parliamentarians. P&O, the company, the corporation that fired hundreds of British workers while protecting the Dutch and the French. Well, they're in trouble now because when this happened, there is a lot of analysis I'm going to take you through. But first, let me show you what happened in Parliament in terms of the questioning and how the CEO admitted that they intentionally broke the law.
As well. Okay, we'll get going. Mr. Hebblethwaite, when I was reading your biography, it seemed pretty light on your experience as a chief executive officer. Are you in this mess because you don't know what you're doing, or are you just a shameless criminal?
What a start to the parliamentary session. It's a very, very fair question. And the whole issue is that when corporations like P&O do these sort of things, this is corporatism ruining the concept of free market capitalism. Corporatism is not capitalism anymore at this point. And when the CEO was asked what happened here, he admitted that yes, he broke the law because he knew that he couldn't get around the employment laws in the UK.
Mr. Hebblethwaite, did P&O have a duty to consult the unions in good time over the redundancies pursuant to Section 188 of the Trade Union Act of 1992?
So there's absolutely no doubt that we were required to consult with the unions. They
chose not to, and it's going to continue. And this is the point where this could have actually brought down Boris Johnson's government, because the process is essentially when you're a big company and you do something massive like this, you have to give a heads up to the trade unions. And then when it's even higher, like hundreds of workers that's going to be laid off, then you also have to alert the authorities, the central government, Downing Street. A lot of people thought that, and I thought for a second this might be a shortcomings from Downing Street because of bureaucracy, that someone got an email and they didn't really pass it along to the Prime Minister or the Chancellor, and this will be legally the fault of the government. But luckily, they're going to get away with it because it's not the fault of the government for once.
Car and drive down the motorway and you see the 70-mile-an-hour sign, do you say that that's not going to apply to me, I'm going to do 90 because I think it's important that I do that? Is that how you go about your life?
No.
No, it isn't.
I'm glad you said that. Although, if he was one of those idiots, he could have said, yeah. If my wife was pregnant and I'm going to hospital, I would have gone fast. That would have been a good leeway. But without giving them tips and hints and all that stuff, the issue goes to the point where they understand that the employment standards in this country is even higher than parts of the European continent. So that's why those Ramonas who were kicking off saying this is only happening because of Brexit. In fact, yes, because we are becoming even stronger with employment laws, and I don't even fully agree with when you go too much regulation anyways. I'm a free marketeer. But our standards are more bureaucratic and complicated than even Europe, so they couldn't do it to the French workers.
You haven't escaped the law of this country. You've still got to do it within the legal framework. You can't just decide that you're going to absent yourself from the legal system of the United Kingdom.
So it was our assessment that the change was of such a magnitude that no union could possibly accept our proposal.
Oh, you're right about that, Mr. I've never heard.
That's the whole point. I mean, but if something is not going to go your way, you don't necessarily have to. I mean, they went rogue. Surely there must have been a meeting about this. Did they really think that they could directly break the law and get away with it because they don't agree with the current method and routes? Because usually you have to find a legal way. That's the whole point of it. You can't just be like, well, the law's not working, so I'm going to have to completely break it in that sense. We break the law at times, all of us, every single one of us, depending on the degree and the irrationality of the law. We get it. You know, I've done it. I didn't really wear face masks everywhere I went, so I technically broke regulations as well. But it is about the degree and the harm factor. The harm factor when it comes to what you did to hundreds of British workers, just so that you can basically hire some other foreign workers on much cheaper salary. That is disgusting, and this is giving a bad name to capitalism. But as I said, this is not capitalism. This is corporatism going hand in hand with big state and big trade unions and big lobby groups. This is no longer about free market, free people. This is why we have to call this out, even as capitalist conservatives. We're going to come back with more news for you guys throughout the day. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.